And my final point is the execution. You know, after you've laid out your vision, it's clearly defined, it's specific. You know your strengths and your weaknesses. You have mentors where you've trained and you have the plan. You have the plan laid out before you. Now it's time to execute. It's game day. It's time to go out there and exude confidence. This is where the rubber meets the road. Exude the confidence that shows in your physical appearance, you know, your speech as well as your actions. Have what I call positive posture. You know, you show the world that you have what it takes to be a success. As I mentioned before, after I graduated from the Air Force Academy, I had an 8-year military commitment, but I ended up serving 4 years. And then we did the reduction in force, and I was able to get out and come play for the Cowboys. But I hadn't played football. I was stationed overseas for 2 years. I hadn't seen a football game in over 2 years, let alone having to play the game, put on helmets in over almost 5. And then finally, after our armed forces did a reduction in force, we downsized after the first Gulf War. I was able to come play for the Dallas Cowboys. And again, I hadn't played football. I hadn't even seen football in over 2 years, and I had an opportunity to come play for eventually a Super Bowl championship team. But I had done everything that I could to prepare myself. Thankfully, the Air Force really encouraged us to work out, to lift weights. I ended up putting on about 20 pounds as I was flying jets. And as I explained to you before, some of the mental exercises that we had to go through, and to be able to handle the media eventually when I got to Dallas, or to be able to handle the stress of being in the limelight 24/7 and also being on TV and eventually in a Super Bowl playing in front of 500 million people. You know, when you put it on the line as a combat fighter pilot, you know, what are they going to throw at you? But I came back to Dallas, and I had to go through a workout at Valley Ranch, where the Dallas Cowboys training facility is. I was originally stationed in London at RAF Bentwaters Woodbridge. I'd called my agent when I found out that I was able to get out of my commitment. I was able to resign my commitment and come play for the Cowboys because they were waiving not only a pilot training commitment, but also the Service Academy commitment. So the Cowboys flew me from London Heathrow Airport back to Dallas on a Friday night. I got here, and that Saturday morning, I had to work out to prove that I had what it takes to be a football player, a professional football player. Well, I went through and I had to run a 40-yard dash. And this is the kicker. Sometimes when Murphy's Law is in action, it's in action big time. Because after I ran that 40-yard dash, I had some old Air Force-issued Stan Smith football shoes or tennis shoes on. The flat bottom kind, no traction, whatever. Well, I ran, and as soon as I finished across the 40-yard line, like sometimes the dumb defensive lineman that I am, I turned to look at the guy and I twisted my ankle to see when I saw what my time was. So I had to go through the rest of this workout with a sprained ankle. And I did some pass rush drills and I did a bench. Ended up having the fastest time of any defensive lineman coming out that year in the combine of all these young guys or rookies. I was a 26-year-old rookie at the time. And eventually, when I finished that workout, Jimmy Johnson came up to me and said, "We like what you see. When can you come play for the Cowboys?" I got in a jet that afternoon out of Dallas, back to London, submitted my paperwork to the Air Force, and within 3 weeks, I was processed out of the Air Force and back here in Dallas getting ready to play for the Dallas Cowboys. That's how fast not only the market can affect you, that's how fast life can affect. And if you have done everything, if you have that clearly defined vision, if you know yourself, you've been mentored, and you have the plan set before you, you're going to be able to react to whatever the world throws you.